Shankarji, you put those details of the Upanishad talks in the group, Shankarji.
Yeah, once I will request Shanti ma'am to
Find out from
finalize the
them
details on
what to put, and then you can put.
Yeah.
So we are coming to the last chapter we have decided, and the last day of this online program. It is a belief that the essential Gita teaching starts from the 11th verse of the second chapter, and it ends in the 15th chapter. 16, 17, 18 are additional informations, though they are extremely good, especially 18th chapter, a lot of tips on to surrender. Lot of tips how to surrender. But with the 15th chapter, almost all the topics are covered. If somebody is a husband, is a son, is a father, is a friend, is an officer, the person has to be different from all these, because husband cannot be father, father cannot be son, son cannot be officer, and all that. So therefore, there is one person, Mr. A, according to his association, he becomes the husband, he becomes the father, he becomes the son, he becomes the friend, he becomes the officer. Similarly, whatever is there in the entire universe of sentient and insentient objects and beings, there is only one God, nothing else other than Him. In Him, there is a potentiality. There are lots of names and forms in Him. Like one ocean has waves and bubbles in that. You sleep one person, in your dream there are multiple characters coming. All of them are in you. You are only one. But the multiple characters you are dreaming, all of them are you only. Similarly, this God has in Him innumerable forms, and He at will projects them out and supports them, and in His presence, these inert forms and thoughts get animated. They assume an individuality. These individual forms are called jiva, like the wave and the bubble and all that. The total forms, like the ocean, is called Virata Purusha, or within us, Kutastha, the changeless. In us, there are two entities. There are three. I will talk about the third later. There are two entities in us. One, the doer. The other, the one who witnesses. The doer and the witnesses. I am thinking, but I am also witnessing my thoughts. That's why I say my mind is agitated. Mind is agitated, but there is a witness also. So in us, there are two. The one who is actively involved in activities, the other a witness. The person who is actively involved goes on changing his roles and experiences. the joys and sorrows. He is also called Kshetrajna. This Kshetrajna has got another dimension which does not change, witness. He is called Kutastha. He is called Kutastha. Kuta means anvil. Kutastha, that stays on the anvil. So this Kutastha is not affected by what happens to this jiva. This jiva is only a reflection of this Kutastha in the thoughts. Therefore, this jiva is also called abhasa. Abhasa means reflection. Abhasa Chaitanya. Jiva. Kshetrajna. Charapurusha. Synonyms, all synonyms. Jiva. Charapurusha. Kshetrajna. Abhasa Chaitanya. All they belong to the ego. The one who supports all these, who himself does not change, is not affected by the joys and sorrows, is called Kutastha, anvil. On an anvil, lot of things are kept and hit. Iron rods are bent, made into pieces on an anvil. But anvil doesn't yield to any change. So also this Kutastha. This Kutastha, being changeless, is called Akshara Purusha. Chara, perishable. The ego, because it goes on changing. Akshara, that which does not change. Akshara Purusha. Akshara Purusha, Kutastha. Chara Purusha, Jiva, is called also Kshetrajna. Here, Kutastha also knows everything that's happening. So, in a way, he is also Kshetrajna, but this Kshetrajna is different from the Jiva Kshetrajna. So, now, I told you, if somebody is a father, if somebody is a friend, if somebody is a husband, he has to be different from all of them. Then only he can change the rules. Similarly, if something is both Chara and Akshara, there has to be another dimension for this Chara and Akshara. Changing, changeless. Jiva, Kutastha, witness. Sakshi Chaitanya is called Kutastha. Abhasa Chaitanya is called Jiva. Abhasa, reflection. Abhasa Chaitanya is called Jiva. Sakshi Chaitanya, witness, is called Kutastha. Now those two must have another dimension. He is called beyond these two. Chara Purusha, perishable indweller. Purusha, one who lives in the city, nine-gated city. Chara Purusha, Akshara Purusha, one who is not affected by changes. The third one is beyond Chara and Akshara. Therefore, he is called Purushottama. So, how many dimensions? Chara, Akshara, Purushottama. So, Bhagavan only has 3 dimensions. No, any number of dimensions. Virat, Hiranyagarbha, every name and form is his. There is nothing other than him. Jada, Chaitanya. So the whole Vedanta, in fact, either in Gita or in the Upanishads, is not to give you a lot of details and informations, Their whole purpose is to make you know that all these varied multiple expressions, both in physical forms and emotions like joys and sorrows, sukha and dukkha, they are all expressions of that one infinite, blissful, conscious existence called Brahman. If Brahman alone is all, both your friend and enemy, sukha and dukkha, honor and dishonor, what to reject, what to hug. Once you reject something and want to hug something, you cannot get rid of the duality. Because with the very effort to hug somebody something, you are rejecting something, and that itself will bounce back. See, a person who sees God in all, that man is not perturbed by the relative happenings of joys and sorrows, sukha and dukkha, honor and dishonor, friend and enemy. So the whole purpose of Vedanta is not to give you lot of details about God, not to give you lot of information, Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya. That's not the purpose of all the Upanishads. The purpose and the Upanishads of Gita is to tell you, He alone is all. In our friend, in our enemy, in Sukha, in Dukkha, in Jada, and in Chaitanya, in Annamaya Kosha, in Pranamaya Kosha, in Manomaya Kosha, in Vijnanamaya Kosha, in Anandamaya Kosha, the truth is God and God and God alone. If you have known this, practice this, you will get out of this mess of this changing phenomena, which is called death. The phenomena of change is called death because in every change there is a previous condition and a later condition. The death of the previous condition is the birth of the later condition. Therefore, death is the phenomenon of change. It's really horrible. Continuously being born and dying, exposed to sukha, exposed to dukkha. Once you know this essential being that you are, you go beyond the tortures of this duality. That's the purpose of making you know the one and the many through all the Upanishads and Gita, and not to make you an erudite scholar. What is Annamaya Kosha? What is Pranamaya Kosha? What is Manam? To collect all of them and dump into a waste paper is the purpose of the Vedas and the Gita. Not for you to master them. Right? So the 15th chapter, beautifully in this just 20 slokas, deals with the topic of the jiva, of the witness, and beyond it, and how that what is beyond it becomes the witness, becomes the jiva. What is the relationship between the jiva and the witness and that? What are their various functions? How they are connected? And how to know the ultimate? All are beautifully developed in this lovely chapter, 15th chapter. In trying to tell us the one dimension in the many, he also makes us understand that he is behind all our functions, especially for your survival, you need food. How? In the food that you take, at every step he is there, is discussed here. Therefore, this chapter is chanted in ashrams and etc. before taking the food. Okay. This is called Purushottama Yoga. Why Purushottama Yoga? Purusha, indweller. Uttama, highest Purusha. What is the highest Purusha? Who is beyond Chara Purusha and Akshara Purusha. What is Chara Purusha? What is Akshara Purusha? revised 7th chapter, what we did there. Bhumirapal apo naro kham vayuhu buddhirevacha. The 5 elements, ahankara, buddhi, all these form the lower prakriti. Apare ayam itaha tu anyam yaya jiva bhutam dharayati. There is another dimension through which all these beings are supported. Right? Apare mitastvanyam yaya dharayate idam jagat, something like that. But this is the essence. 2 dimensions. One is the changing ego, the other is the supporting Bhagavan. And beyond that, what is there is called Purushottama. Let us now take this chapter. To make us understand that the whole thing is one, he starts from the origin. There are 2 ways of explaining this non-dual dimension. Dual Dvaita, non-dual Advaita. This non-dual dimension, there are 2 ways of making us know. One, to tell from the origin. Brahman onwards, Hiranyagarbha, Virata Purusha, and then 5 elements, Tanmatras, and then our Karmendriyas, Jnanendriyas, and all that, and the elements and the 5 objects. So from up, he brings down, and from up all these come. They can't be different. What comes from gold has to be gold. What came from Brahman has to be Brahman. Brahman is infinite, so you have to be infinite. Brahman is blissful, you have to be blissful. You are not different from him. To make you understand this non-dual dimension of yours, one way is to make them start from the top to the bottom, unknown to the known. The other way is to go beyond the known to the unknown. Annamaya kosha is born out of food, grows in food, and ultimately becomes food for the worms and all that. That you think is you, because that's your outer layer. But in death you leave it, so you can't be that. Not only that, it is functional because of the prana, the 5 pranas. And the pranas are also functioning because of the mind. Mind is functioning because of the intellect. Intellect is functioning because of the vasanas. Vasanas are supported by this consciousness. Because in sleep, you are not aware of anything. There is one ignorance, only vasanas. And that is also supported by this consciousness, which is existence. Because it is there in the waking dream and deep sleep state, Anvaya. When they are not there, it is there, Vitireka. That is the essential being. So that which is beyond means greater, subtler, more pervasive. More than the body is the prana. More than the prana is the mind. More than the mind is the intellect. More than the intellect are the vasanas. More than the vasanas is that imperishable Brahman. So here, from known to the unknown. In the first case, unknown to the known. In the second case, known to the unknown. This is the 2 ways of trying to explain the inexplicable, nameless, formless subject. And in this text right now, he starts from top to bottom, how everything have emerged from him. He is the source. So let us chant. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Urdhva Moolamadasyakam Ashwatham Prahuravyayam Chandam Siyasya Parnani Yastam Veda Saveda Vit Urdhva Moolam, roots above, Adashakaha, branches below, Ashwatham, this tree of universe, Prahuhu Avyayam, they call it imperishable. Chandansi, Yasya Parnani, the leaves of this tree are the Vedas. Chandansi Yasya Parnani, Yastam Vedasa Vedavit. One who knows this tree, in this way it is explained, he knows the essence of the Vedas. Therefore, he is a Vedavit. Urdhva Moolam, roots above, branches below. People try to really look if there is a tree like that. It's an allegory. But our people are so very lazy, they can't even think. They imagine there can be a tree like that. How is your family tree drawn? 7th generation, below 6th generation, below 5th generation, below 4th. So the root is on the top. From that, the family tree comes. If that is acceptable, the infinite generations coming from that infinite has to be from top to bottom. Also, this is a method of spiritual teaching. To make you think, they give you a jolt at times. To make you think, they give you a shock, a jolt. Roots above, branches below, you start thinking. Urdhva Moolam Adashakam Ashwatham Prahuhu. And what is this tree? That which never remains the same tomorrow. Shwa, tomorrow. Ashwatham, Ashwa, that which is not the same tomorrow. Ashwatham. It's banyan tree. Ashwatha tree is banyan tree. But here spiritually, this samsara ruksha never remains the same tomorrow. Why tomorrow? Today itself. The tree that supported you while you came to the class is changed now. Several people have grown, several people have died, several people have born, several thoughts have changed. So the tree is ever changing. Right? Ashwatham. It never stays the same tomorrow. Also, it's called Ashwatha because in the olden days, because it's such vast area, people used to tie down the horses below it. Ashwatham Prahuhu Avyayam. They call it imperishable. On one side it says Ashwatham, that which doesn't remain the same tomorrow. Another side it says imperishable. Have you seen Ganges? Shankarji, how many times you saw Ganges? Or Kaveri? How many times you saw Kaveri?
Kaveri multiple times I have seen.
Huh?
Kaveri multiple times I have seen.
Multiple times you have seen Kaveri. But you cannot see. The moment you see, that water has gone.
Gone.
So that Kaveri that you saw is not there.
Yes.
Right? Because that water, what you saw, is gone. Right?
Yes.
So Ashwatha, but Avyayam, imperishable. Kaveri is an eternal river.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Is an eternal river. So also this world of names and forms. They are continuously changing, but supported by a basic principle which is changeless. Kaveri, you are able to see again and again, though it has gone, because of the river bed. Similarly, because of this Bhagavan holding this world, the word forms are coming and going, but we are able to experience a continuity in them. A continuity in them. Right? So, Avyayam, imperishable. Urdhamulam, Adashakam, Ashwattham, Prahuhu, Avyayam. Chandansi, Yasya Parnani. The leaves or its leaves are the Vedas. Why leaves are Vedas? The tree grows because of the leaves. The leaves suck, I think it's called capillary action, water and manure from down below. In sucking, that passes through the stem and the tree grows. When the leaves suck the water and the manure, while it passes through the stem, the tree grows. Therefore, the basis of the life of the tree and the growth is the leaves, the branches. Our life continues and we grow through knowledge. And therefore, the leaves are compared to Vedas. He is describing the samsara vriksha. Word samsara means samyak sarati. That which continuously changes is called a samsara. He is describing us the samsara vriksha. Bhagavan Krishna is describing us samsara vriksha. What is the purpose? Not to know the tree, not to know the various details he is giving, but to know this samsara has come from Bhagavan, cannot be different from Bhagavan, because Bhagavan cannot change. To change, for changing, there should be space. Where is the space where he is not? So, this samsara that you are experiencing, the names and forms, are only Bhagavan. In him there is a capacity, himself not undergoing a change, appears to change, like you have the capacity. The waker being one not changing, appear to be changing into multiple forms of dream. Right? So, to make you understand, all this samsara that you are seeing is only one infinite truth, like the waker dreaming the various multiple world. There cannot be a real dream world. There cannot be a real world, because there is no place where Bhagavan is not there. Just like the waker when he is sleeping, existence and consciousness, thoughts parading before him, in his presence gets animated, and you experience the world. So also, in the presence of Bhagavan, there are number of thoughts in him, the forms, when they parade before him, they take the multiple forms, that what you call it as samsara. Therefore, there is no real creation at all. Creation itself is a perception. There is no real creation at all. A Western scientist said, mind is who got Nobel Prize. Mind is the matrix of matter. Mind is the matrix of matter. There is no real creation. It's all thoughts. So for you to understand, they explain to you, you can follow, oh, from Bhagavan this tree has come. So like our family tree. And then through Guru's guidance, you start reflecting. From Bhagavan, something cannot come because he is infinite, changeless. Therefore, the finite that I experience is only an appearance in him, like my dream world. So, to arrive at that non dual truth, this duality has been taken as an aid. Ashwattham prahuraviyam chandansi yasya parnani yastam vedasa vedavid. One who knows this, knows the essence of the Vedas. The essence of the Vedas is Brahman. One who understands this, understands Brahman. Adaschodvam prasutastasya shaka guna pravruddha vishaya pravala adascha moolan anusantatani कर्मानुबंधीनि मनुष्य लोके अधश्च ऊर्ध्वं प्रस्तुताः तस्य शाखाः. The branches of this tree, some are going up, some are going down. Some are evolving, some are going down the ladder of evolution. We also, sometimes we go up, sometimes we go down. So, this samsara vriksha, all the time, there are opposite forces working. There are opposite forces working. Some are going up, some are coming down. Adascha urdhvam prasrutaha tasya shakaha. How this world is bound by qualities. By qualities. Qualities are called guna. Guna is called in Sanskrit rope. Rope binds, qualities bind. How qualities bind? You like sweet, I don't like sweet. Right? You are bound by the presence of the sweet because you need it, or you are bound by the absence of it, you are averse to it. I am bound by the absence of the sweet or the presence of sweet, because in the absence of sweet, I am happy. In the presence of sweet, I am not happy. You are happy in the presence of sweet. You are not happy in the absence of sweet. So it is these opposite qualities that nourish this samsara vriksha. Likes and dislikes. Gunas. Sattva guna to create. No, sattva guna to maintain. Rajoguna to create. Tamoguna to change, to destroy. The world is continuously undergoing creation, sustenance, and destruction. Sattva-guna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna. So these three gunas maintain this world. In you, Sattva-guna is your intellect. Rajoguna is your passion, mind. Tamoguna is your body. The individual that you call yourself is a combination of Sattva, Rajo, Tamo, Guna. They together hold you, the individual, the ego. Guna pravruddhaha, Vishaya pravalaha. The buds are the senses, sense objects. Because when you see an object, your desire is born. And then you want to enjoy that, you start enjoying, a new vasana is born. And from this vasana, again, the individual multiplies. Through the buds, the tree brings out many branches. The buds, the sense objects, are the source for our different expressions. Vishaya Pravalaha. They are called Vishaya, sense objects. Vishaya means that which binds is called a Vishaya. Visinoti is called Sinoti, binds, Visinoti binds in a special way. And that Visinoti alone becomes Vishaya. They bind the sense objects. And through them only your desires, your vasanas multiply, your projections multiply, and therefore the buds are the sense objects. Vishaya Pravala. Adascha Mulan Anusantatani Karmanu Bandhini Manushya Loke. This samsara ruksha is firmly entwined into the roots underground. There are secondary roots. This samsara ruksha is entwined with the roots underground. What are the roots underground? Your karma, your prarabdha karma. The samsara ruksha is held, is fed, made active by your prarabdha karma. Therefore, adascha moolan anusantatani. They maintain the continuity and originate actions. Manushya loke, in this human world. And now there are a lot of people who will be looking for such a tree. Veda Vyasa doesn't allow them to waste their energies. So he says, this is only an allegory. Don't look for a physical tree. So the next verse he says, Na rupamasyeha tatopalabhyate nanto na chade na sampratishtha ashwattamenam suvirudha moolam asangasastrena dhrudena chitva. There is no reality for this tree. Because it's all thoughts. I told you there cannot be a samsara because Bhagavan is infinite. Nothing can be other than him. It's only a projection of the thoughts. Therefore, there is no real world. It's only a projection of the thoughts, like your dream world. Na rupamasyeha tatopalabhyati nanto na chadir na cha sampratishta. Because it's ever-flowing thoughts, you cannot arrive at the beginning or the end, nor have they any firm grip. Nacha sampratishta. Right? Ashwattamenam. This tree, this samsara tree, Ashwattamenam. How do you try to eliminate it? It is true. It is not real. It is true. It is not real. It's only a projection. But still it troubles you. You have to get rid of it. Even if a disease is imaginary, the imaginary disease has to be treated by a psychiatrist. So, even if this tree of samsara doesn't exist, it still bothers you. So you have to get rid of it. How do you do that? Aswattamenam suviruda moolam. Do not leave even a trace. It will again come back. Complete thing with all roots, without leaving a trace, you have to cut it off. How? You need a weapon. What is the weapon? Asanga sastrena dhrudena chitva. Through the sword of detachment. How do you wake up from the sufferings of the dream world? Detach from the mind, the dream world. How do you wake up from this samsara? They're all in your mind, detached from the mind. How do you say it's in the mind? They are real. Well, if they are real, you should experience them even in sleep. In sleep, you don't experience. The world is experienced only when there is a mind. If you detach from the mind, there is no world. What you do in sleep, try to bring that state into waking. In sleep, when you sleep, it's called sleep. In waking, it's called samadhi. Because the entire thought flow is supported by this consciousness, like the river is supported by the river bed. Try to detach from the mind and get settled in this consciousness. Can I do it while working? Yes, you can be conscious of that conscious principle which makes you work, which makes me speak, which makes others listen. It's there everywhere. You cannot miss it. You can be conscious. While you are driving, you are talking to your friends, you are listening to music, but you are all the time conscious of the road. It's not that you miss it. You are conscious of the road. So it is possible through all your activities, you still can remember him. How? When you remember him, the world tree gets detached automatically. This is why Gurudev says, attach, detach. Attach, detach. If you attach to the truth, you get detached from the falsehood. Attach, detach. And that weapon is now explaining in detail. Nirmana moha jita sanga dosha adhyatma nitya vinivrutta kama dvandvair vimukta sukha dukkha sangai gacchantya muda padamavyayam tat. Who are the people who are able to detach? How are they able to detach? Nirmana moha. Those who are free from the delusion that they are this individual entity. Mana, measurement, ego, honor, pride. I am this, I am so and so. That's all called mana. Mana is measurement. Nirmana moha, it's born out of delusion that you are this individual. Jita sanga dosha, it has come because of your association with the body. Nirmana moha jitasanga doshaha adhyatma nitya, by continuously tuning yourself to that self, this lower self to that self, continuously focusing yourself to that consciousness, vinivrutta kamaha, having completely retired from desires. Desires, you think, give you fulfillment. It's the reverse. Desires cover the the fullness that you are. In sleep, when there is, you are not conscious of the body, mind, intellect. What is there is bliss. That's your real nature. This real nature is covered by the mind. What is your mind? All your desires. Unless you detach from the mind, you cannot experience this consciousness. To detach from this mind, you have to retire from all your dependency on this false world. So you have to detach from the desires. Vinivritta kamaha, dvandvaihi vimuktaha. Free from this sense of duality. He, me, friend, enemy, see God in all. Dvandvaihi vimukta sukha dukkha sangaihi. Like joys and sorrow. See, in joy, Bhagavan, in sorrow also Bhagavan. In friend, Bhagavan, enemy, Bhagavan. Gachanti amuda, such a man is not deluded by the forms that he sees. He knows the truth behind the forms. Therefore, muda deluded, amudaha not deluded, padam avyayam tat. Padam, goal, abode, avyayam, imperishable, which in spiritual language is called tat, that, tattvamasi. Because to you now, who is wedded to the world, it looks as though it is far away. Therefore, tat, padam, that goal, that abode, avyayam, imperishable, tat, that truth, right? He goes to that. How? Free from delusion. What is the delusion? I am this body, therefore mana and moha. And we are all different. Dvandva, dvandvair muktaha, sukha dukkha sangaihi, vinavritta kamaha. Develop all these qualities. Without developing these qualities, you cannot detach from the dream. And padam avyayam tat. That abode, that imperishable goal, he said. What is that? He is explaining. Na tad bhasayate suryah, na shashanko na pavakaha, yad gatva na nivartante, tadhama paramam mama. How can I show you that, sir? It's a thing. That is the subject. The subject cannot be ever objectified. Subject and object cannot be the same at one given time. At any given time, subject is different, object is different. The one who wants to see that God is the subject. And he is the one whom he wants to see. He cannot be objectified. Through the telescope, I can see several things. But I cannot see myself, because when I move from this lens which I see to the lens outside, there is no seer here. There is no seer here. I am the very subject. Therefore, when I become the object, there is no subject. And hence, you cannot experience that as an experience, subject-object relationship. Yet you can know yourself. That's not a subject-object relationship. You can intuitively feel yourself, this is me. Na tad bhasayate suryah, na shashankah. Upanishad said. The same statement, here he says, na tad bhasayate suryah, na shashankah, na pavakah. Pavaka, fire, cannot illuminate. Moon cannot illuminate. Sun cannot illuminate. Why? Sun is illuminating because of the presence of this consciousness. Moon is illuminating because of the sunlight, which is illuminating because of the consciousness. Fire is giving you light, heat, and all that because of that consciousness. And when you take them out, fire is no fire, sun is no sun, moon is no moon. Therefore, sun cannot illumine, moon cannot illumine, fire cannot illumine. How to know? In daytime, you can see through the sun. In night time, you can see through the moon. Or bulbs, fire, electricity. You can see. three ways of seeing it. But can a dead man see? To see the sunlight, moonlight, and the light of the fire, this jiva, this consciousness has to be there. But now, when you are sleeping, dreaming, you are not seeing through the sunlight, you are not seeing through the moonlight, you are not seeing through the fire, but you are seeing the world. How? This Chaitanya shows. Without this Chaitanya, you cannot experience sun, moon, and fire. Without the sun, moon, and fire, you can experience this Chaitanya. Without this, they can't illumine. Without them, consciousness can illumine. Therefore, this is the eternal subject. And therefore, being eternal subject, yad gatva na nivartanti taddhama paramam mama. Having reached the height of evolution, that is my abode. You will never no more come to believe yourself to be the stupid ego. It says, having gone, you don't return back. It's not to be taken physically. Having got that knowledge, you will never again believe that you are this stupid ego. Once you get a knowledge of anything, you cannot again go on fooling yourself. So you have now known your God. You will not come back to be this jiva. And now he is trying to tell us how he alone is all the various factors in the cosmos and in the individual. First, he takes the individual. How? In the individual, he alone makes all activities possible. And later he will take how he alone makes the cosmic forces maintain this world. Mamaivamsho jivaloke jivabhuta sanatanaha manashashtani indriyani prakritisthani karshati. Mamaiva amshaha jivaloke. In this world of names and forms, mamaiva amshaha, one particle of me, one portion of myself, jiva bhotaha, becoming the individual, the ego, sanatanaha. Right? Jiva bhota, it's only one particle of Bhagavan. Bhagavan is partless. One particle of Bhagavan, when he is seen through a particular condition, space is relatively infinite, relatively. But when you see it through a particular dimension, you call it room, bedroom, you call it hall, you call it kitchen. So you say a portion of the space. Space is undivided. Because of the encrustations or the conditionings, you call it differently. Similarly, Bhagavan is indivisible. That Bhagavan, seen through a particular form, becomes the jiva. And in that jiva, what does he do? He supports all our activities. Manaha, Shastaha, Indriyani, the 6 sense organs and the organs of action. How the 6 sense organs? Only 5. Mind. Manaha, Shastani, Indriyani. Without the mind, senses cannot function. Therefore, mind is also included as the sense organs. Prakritistane Kashati. They are all expressions of the indivisible nature of Bhagavan, which is called Prakriti. His own power, which makes the impossible possible, which makes the world that can never be appear as though to be there, is his own power, which brings out variety. That power is called Prakriti. Staying in that Prakriti, the transactional world goes through and survives. And all this is possible because his sustenance, his support. Otherwise, Prakriti he cannot do anything. The senses staying there cannot do anything. And he himself, becoming the individual, supports all the activities of the senses. Further, Shariram yadavapnoti yachapyutkramati gruhitvaitani samyati vayurgandha nivasaya. Shariram yat avapnoti. When you take this body, you, the individual, cannot enter the body without him because you don't have even motion. He has to be there with you. So you enter into the body along with him. That's a figurative way. He is everywhere. Without him, you cannot do anything. He is there in the womb also. So when you enter, he is already there for you to support. When you enter the womb, pushed by him only. So there has to be some external power to push it. The external power is him. That jiva is him, supported by him in the womb. So, Sharire yadavapnoti. When you take this body, yacha api utramati ishvaraha. Also, when the jiva leaves this body, he is supporting all this coming and going. Gruhitva, having collected all your vasanas and faculties, gruhitva itani samyati vayuhu gandaha nivasayet. How does he collect? Like the wind collects the various fragrances, but untouched by them. Similarly, he collects the various faculties in you when you leave this body, unaffected by these faculties, like the wind that collects the fragrances. Vayur Gandha Nivash, he leaves this body. And then, how to recognize him? How to recognize him in you? Shrotram Chakshusparshanam cha Rasanam Granam Evacha Adhisthaya Manaschayam Vishayanupasevate. Shrotram, ears. You can't hear. Dead body cannot hear. He has to be there for you to hear. Dead body cannot see. He has to be there for you to see. Therefore, you just have to intuitively feel what is it because of which I am able to see, what is it because of which I am able to hear. That way you try to see the very subject. You will be able to stumble upon it. Srotram Chakshuhu, eyes. Parshanam, touch. Dead body doesn't feel the touch. Rasanam, taste. Granam, smelling. Adhisthaya, presiding over them. Manaschayam, and the mind. Vishayanupasevati. He enjoys the various objects. This is a way of putting it. Bhagavan doesn't enjoy. Bhagavan as a jiva, the Abhasa Chaitanya. Bhagavan as a reflected consciousness, the Abhasa Chaitanya, enjoys them. Without Bhagavan, there is no reflection. Without that reflection, there are no functions of the senses. Therefore, essential thing that makes the things possible is Bhagavan. So figuratively it says Bhagavan enjoys. Bhagavan neither enjoys nor does. And further, how to know? Utkramantam sthitam vapi bhunjanam va gunanvitam vimudhananu pashyanti gnana chakshushaha. Utkramantam, departing, sthitam, staying, bhunjanam, enjoying, gunanvitam, along with these various senses and sense objects, vimudaha, highly deluded people, na anupashyanti, they don't see me. Pashyanti gnana chakshushaha, through eye of intuition you can see. You say, I don't know Bhagavan, I have not seen. Stupid fellow, how are you able to move? Dead body moves. You are moving, you are sitting, you are talking. All that is through Chaitanya. You are so deluded, you think you are this body. This body cannot move. It cannot even sit. It cannot function. So Vimudha, stupid people, though continuously seeing it, na anupashyanti, they don't see it. Those who see, how do they see? Gnana chakshushaha, through the eye of wisdom. What is the eye of wisdom? Integrate the mind and intellect and try to see their origin and focus it to the consciousness that makes all these functions possible. He can experience that. Utkramantam, sthitam vapi, bhunjanam, while enjoying, gunanvitam, along with the senses, vimudha nanu pashyanti. These highly stupid people don't see the Bhagavan. Only some rare, fortunate people see it through the eye of wisdom, intuition, an integrated mind and intellect. Yatanto yoginaschainam pasyantyatmanyavasthitam yatanto prakritatmanaha nainam pashyanta chetasaha. He said, Vimudaha nanu pashyanti, pashyanti gnana chakshushaha. Two types of people. Stupid people don't see, some see it through intuition. What is it that makes them different? I told you integrated person. That he is telling here. Yatanto, even though striving, yoginaha chayenam, the integrated people, this Atman pashyanti, yatantaha striving, yoginaha, these integrated people, yenam, this Atman, pashyanti, atmani, avasthitam, they were able to experience this in themselves. Yatantaha api, even though striving, akritatmanaha, the unrefined ones, na yenam pashyanti, they are not able to see this Atman, achetasaha, bereft of intelligence, unintelligent people. What is this akrutaha? Unrefined and refined, who have not reduced their vasanas. If you have reduced your vasanas through integrating the mind and intellect, through sadhanas like japa, etc., sense control, you will be able to know this. If you have not done that process of integrating the mind and intellect, reducing the desires and vasanas, your instrument is not refined, akritatmanaha. Therefore, you cannot see it. And now he is coming to, he has explained his various roles in the individual. Charapurusha. Now he is going to tell us his role in the outside world, cosmos. Yada dityagatam tejaha Jagadbhasayate kilam yachandramasi yachagno tattejo vidhi mamakam. All the power of the sun and the moon and the fire, the light of the fire, sun and the moon and the light, and the fire through which they illumine, all that comes from me. The light that you see through the bulb, the sound that you hear through the mic, the breeze that you feel through the fan, all comes by the electricity. You think bulb gives light? Fan gives you breeze? No. Electricity makes the bulb give you light. Fan gives you breeze. Through the heater, it gives you heat. Through the mic, it gives you sound. Yada dityagatam tejaha jagatbhasayale tekilam yachandramasi yachagnav tat tejo vidhimamakam. So, inside you, everything is He. Outside you, everything is He. Inside you, everything is He. Outside you, everything is He. Now He is going to make you realize you live by the food that you take. How? At each step, He only makes the food possible for you, not only in its production, He not only makes the possibility of the food in outside, He is the person who prepares the food for you. Not enough. He produces the food, He prepares the food, and then He is the power that gulps the food. He is the power that digests the food. He is the power that circulates the food. So, what is needed for every living being is food. In that itself, you have no role. He produces food. He prepares the food. He cooks the food. He takes the food. He makes you take it. He makes you gulp it. He makes you digest it. He makes you circulate it. All that is done by the presence of this life, the consciousness, without which nothing is possible. So that he is now trying to tell us. Gama vishyacha bhutani dharayamyaha mojasa pushnami chaushadhi sarvaha sumo bhutva rasatmakaha. The earth supports all beings. How? In its nature, you may say. No, there has to be some power to support it. Our Shastras have said thousands of years before that it is the Bhagavan that has entered, Gam Avishya, Gam entering into the earth. Avishya, Bhutani beings, Dharayami, I hold them. I hold them through his energy, Ojasa. Ojasa. I hold them as the energy in the earth. Thousands of years before our Vedas have said it. Now Newton have confirmed it to us. That it is the gravitational force that holds us. This is said in our Vedas. Gama Vishyacha Bhutani Dharayami Ahamojasa Pushnami Chaushadhi Sarvaha. Right? Okay. I hold you with my power on the earth. Then I nourish the food. Pushnami, I nourish the food. How? Pushnami cha voshadihi. Voshadi helps food. How? Somo bhutva rasatmakaha. Through the moonlight. Through the moonlight. He holds you as the gravitational force, and then the food is nourished by the moonlight. This everybody in the villages know. That's why they expose the seeds to the moonlight, and they know The energy is there inside, it has to be brought out. So they till the land. They till the land. So he is the one who holds you, who nourishes the food that you take from the moonlight, and then cooking. Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamasritaha Pranapana Samayuktaha Pachamyannam Chaturvidham. Vaishwanara is the fire in you. Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva, I, becoming the Vaishwanara fire in you, Praninam Dehamasritaha, residing in your body, Prana Apana Samayuktaha, associated with Prana and Apana, because they are the main instruments of action, functions. Prana and Apana. Prana is receiving. Apana is responding. All our life is receiving and responding. All our life is receiving and responding. Prana, apana, samayuktaha, pachami, annam, chaturved. I digest the food that you take. I associating myself with prana and apana. Prana receiving. Your hand takes the food, prana. It goes inside, apana. And then digesting, he only does it. Pachami, he only digests. He only takes it. He only gulps it. He only digests it. Pachamyannam chaturvidham. And because of these two verses where the role of Bhagavan is described in the functions of the food that you take, this chapter is chanted before taking the food in all ashrams. And now he sums up that he is everything, there is nothing beyond him. Sarvasya chaham hrudi samnivishtaha mattasmute jnanam apohanam cha Vedaista sarvaihi ahameva vedya Vedanta krut veda videva chaham. Sarvasya, of all beings, aham, I, sarvasya cha aham, hrudi samnivishtaha. In everybody's heart, that is the basic place where all your thoughts are there, because they are the things that hold you, where your personality is there. It's a psychological center, it's not a real center. In that psychological center, I am there, sarvasya chaham hrudi, in that heart, where all noble thoughts are there. Sannivishtaha, seated. What do I do? Mattaha, smrutihi, jnanam, apohanam cha. You remember, it's a thought. Where from the thought rises? Consciousness, from the consciousness. Consciousness illumines your memory. Smrutihi, jnanam, then you come to know it. Consciousness illumines the knowledge. And this glorious consciousness makes you forget certain things that are not necessary or that are harmful to you. Somebody told you some time back something. If you're going on maintaining it, your life will be miserable. So he helps you to forget that also. Memory, knowledge, forgetfulness, all are supported by this consciousness. And therefore, Vedaischa sarvaihi ahameva vedyam. Because I am the one who is everything in this world, external and internal, there's nothing other than me. Because of me, all the phenomenal forces like the sun and the moon and the fire function. In all the books of knowledge, you have to know only me to gain that immortal, blissful state. And therefore, Vedaischa Sarvehi Ahameva Vidyam. In all books of knowledge, I alone have to be known. Vedanta Krut, I am the one who becomes the subject matter of all the Vedas. Therefore, the author of the Vedas, Vedanta Krut, Veda with, I alone know the Veda in its entirety. Veda with, Evacha Aham, I alone know it. Who is this I? You. Bhagavan, when you say I, if you can detach, you can feel the I, you are the you, I. It's not different from you. And now he is folding the subject. Dvavimau purushau loke charakshakshara evacha charas sarvani bhutani kutastokshara uchyate. Two purushas, chara purusha, all the jivas, akshara purusha, the one who supports all of them. There are two purushas in this world, and then these two purushas are two dimensions of the one who is beyond them, and therefore beyond them is called Uttama. Uttama Purushastvanyaha Paramatme Tyudahrutaha. I am called Paramatma. I am called the Uttama Purusha. Why Parama? Supreme. Inside, more powerful. Officer, superior officer, higher authorities, ultimate. Ultimate is called Bhagavan. Jiva, Kshetrajna, Kutastha, Sakshi Chaitanya, Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, Anandamaya Kosha. Beyond all of them is me. And that me alone becomes the Jiva and the Kutastha, Kshara and Akshara. Therefore, Uttama Purushastvanyaha Paramatme Tyudart. I am called the Supreme Self, the ultimate Self. Yo Lokatrayama Vishya Vibhartavya Ishwaraha. I have entered all the three worlds and support all the three worlds. That Lord, that one who governs all the three worlds. What three worlds? There are 7 worlds above, 7 worlds below. What are the three worlds? All that is experienced loka is threefold. All that is experienced as loka experience, threefold. Past, present, future. Higher, lower, middle. Sattva, Rajo, Tama. Bhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha. I am beyond the three. Tat Savituhu, Varenyam. Bhur Bhuva Suvaha, Tat Savituhu, Varenyam. I am that Savit. Beyond the three, Purushottama. Uttama Purushastvanyaha Paramatme Tyudahrutaha Yo Lokatrayamavishya Vibhartavya Ishwaraha Yashmat Charamatitoham Acharadapi Chottamaha Atosmi Loke Vedecha Pratita Purushottamaha. Because I am beyond the Chara Purusha and Achara Purusha, in the world I am called the Purushottama. Yo Mameva Masammodaha Janati Purushottamam Sasarvavid Bhajati Mam Sarvabhavena Bharata. Yo Mam Ev Asammudama. This me, the essential being, the only reality, Janati Purushottamam, one who knows this ultimate self, Sasarvavit, he the all-knower, Bhajati Mam Sarvabhavena, worships me, serves me with all his entire personality, total being. Sarvavit Bhajati Mam, Sarva Bhavena. Sarvavit, knower of all, Sarva Bhavena, in all moods. as a whole being, bhajati, serves me. All the actions that we do, whatever we do, are ultimately reaching that self, supported by that self. Without this, there is nothing. Therefore, the knower of this truth only feels the presence of him everywhere, and he serves him everywhere. Iti guhyatamam shastram idamuktam maya naga etad buddhva buddhimam syat kritakrityascha bharata. Iti guhyatamam shastram. Shastram, that which is protects you. Guhyam, secret, because ordinary man cannot know it without somebody telling. Guhyataram, greater secret. Guhyatamam, highest secret. The more secret, the more precious. Highest secret, totally precious. Only a guru can tell you out of his love and compassion. Iti guhyatamam shastram. Idam muktam maya naga. That which is told to you. Maya, why did I tell you? Anagha, because you are a sinless one. No ego. Yatad buddhva, having understood. Buddhiman syat, one becomes wise. Kritakrityasya bharata, accomplished of all duties. Here two words are important. Buddhva buddhiman, knowing becomes wise. Knowing is only getting the information, churning it, meditating on that. You internalize it. That way you become wise. As Gurudev says, sugar is there in the coffee, but you have to churn it with the spoon. Then only sweetness enters there. So, buddhva buddhiman syat. And such a man, having known himself to Bhagavan, to be Bhagavan, doesn't himself thinks to be the body, mind, intellect, therefore not inadequate, therefore nothing he needs, and finds kritakrityasya bharata, an accomplished person, nothing to accomplish, a fulfilled person. Right? This is the most beautiful chapter for you to meditate and contemplate. Do it invoking the grace of Guru. Without it, nothing is possible. Thank you all for everything. Thank God in all forms. And in two special forms, Harsha for giving the internet and our life force, Mr. Shankar Nagarajan. Thank all. God bless you all. Hari Om. Om Purnamadaha Purnamitam Purnat Purnamudachyate. Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyati. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Guru Bhyo Namaha. You were all liberated from next week. Thank you.
Not really.
Amma Hari Om. Amma is there. I am inspired.
Hari Om, Hemuji.
Hari Om, Uncle. Thank you.
So
Hari Om,
nice.
everybody.
Thank you
Hari
so
Om,
much.
Hari Om,
Thank you.
Hari Om. God bless you all.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the wonderful.
Thank you, Uncle.
Yeah.